Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got 5 more extremely cool knives to share with you guys. If you're looking for your next knife, there's a chance it's in this video. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. I will link each of these knives down in the description so you guys can check them out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. We're gonna start off here with a knife that is not expensive at all, and that's the Sencut Pulse Wave. Now, if you're familiar with Sencut, then you know they make really good knives and they don't cost a lot of money. This is a $45 knife. What's cool about it is it's a combination flipper and thumb stud opener with a button lock, which is not super interesting, but then when you look at Civivi's line, or not Civivi, but Sencut's line, and you realize it's a lot of times it's either or, this is kind of neat. The other thing that's neat is it's got a forward choil that is combined with a flipper tab and actually has a decent amount of room, which it sounds like a very specific nitpicky thing, but as a knife reviewer who handles as many knives as I do, I don't see that very often. I like that. The thumb studs are also very nicely domed, not pointed or obnoxious to manipulate, anything like that. It's just a really good straightforward knife. I believe the blade steel on this, we can see it right there, is, if we can just get it to focus for you guys, 9CR18 MOV. It's really, really hard to see. As I do appreciate that Civivi is not printing this stuff gigantic and all over the blade, but then again, it makes it harder for me to point out to people. The mounting positions for the pocket clip are left and right-handed, so lefties, you can enjoy this the same way. You'll just need to manipulate the button lock with your index finger. Really, really good stuff. Honestly, it's just a good, straightforward knife for 45 bucks, and I think Sencut really did a good job with it. So, moving on here to something that is much more premium and much more interesting, and that's going to be the Migron Maro. Look at this. Migron makes some beautifully impressive knives, both in the budget department and in the premium department. In the past, I had said a lot of their premium stuff seems to be almost hitting the mark, but just missing it by a little bit here or there. Now, what does this knife remind you of? It's not an exact copy, but it is very close to one of my favorite knives of all time, and that's the non-flipper Hinder XM18 3.5 inch. It has very similar ergonomics, has a very similar look. You can get the beautiful diamond textured titanium here. This has the sort of rectangle opening slot, but it's on both sides. So if you want to, you know, thumb flick it out, which you can do if you get it caught just right, there we go. I think it's actually easier to reverse flick it. And if you want to, there's a front flipper on there. It's not my favorite way to deploy it, but the fact that it's got that little slot right there makes it really easy. And honestly, the easiest way to open it is just to pinch open it, or, you know, if you're super old school, open it with 2 hands. What I like about the blade is it's compound ground. You have a hollow grind right here, so it's nice and slicey, and then out towards the tip, it's much more robust with a flat ground. A flat grind. But we have continuous belly. A lot of times they do this with a Tanto, and that's fun to look at, but when you go back to sharpen it, it really is difficult to not dick it up over time. So I appreciate this. Just a regular belt satin finish, nice flat, good thickness, not crazy. It's not as thick as like the XM18. The jimping, that's the only issue that well, it's not really an issue. It's the only thing that bothers me. They should have just extended the front flipper jimping out to about where the little slot ends right here. But ergonomically, it is beautiful, and it's because we did not do a flipper tab here. For people calling for a flipper tab on something like this, they got about 13 other knives that are very similar that have a flipper tab, and you can choose one of those. I'll link Migron knives down in the description along with this one. But this choil area is roomy and comfortable because there is not a flipper tab, and it just feels great in this position. This is really, really great. I think this is honestly one of the best knives that Migron has released in their premium line. It's just really great. M390, this is a $215 knife. So it is made in China. Obviously, one of the things that makes the XM18 so expensive is it's made in the United States. But if we're gonna compare it with a non-flipper XM18 from Hinder Knives, it's $215 versus $625 if we're comparing apples to apples and going full titanium. So pretty cool, awesome stuff from Migron. That's the Migron Maro. Definitely a recommendable knife. Moving on here, let's check out something else that's very, very interesting and also on the more expensive side. That's going to be the Kaiser Versa. This apparently is a knife that's been around for just a hot second, and I didn't know about it. But I unboxed it the other day, and I was like, wow. I like Kaiser knives, and I think they do a great job in the territory that they make knives in. But a lot of their stuff is just kind of, it's okay, but hey, it's a good price, so whatever. This is super cool. Look at the texture pattern on this. Oh, man. Absolutely beautiful. And once again, we have a beautiful ergonomic profile. This guy much lighter than the Versa, has the opening hole, and honestly, it's a little bit easier to get at, a little bit easier to manipulate, and you still have that little front flipper if you want to use it. This is the coated version, but there is an uncoated version. S35VN, which honestly, personally, I prefer over M390. I just find it to be just a more versatile blade material. But that's, you can like what you like. I do like that the hardware is, I call it plasma, and it's like a lightning anno, right? Not Timascus, but a lightning anno. Look how they captivate that pivot. That's really, really cool. It's just like a square, right? We have the backspacer also lightning anode. I wish they had done the pocket clip, but they didn't. That's okay. Truthfully, this is a really, really exceptional design, and many of you will be really happy to find out that for titanium and S35VN and this really just designy overall profile, it comes in at $170 for the uncoated version, or $175 for the black one. That is more than fair. Kaiser is so impressive with their ability to create a super high quality pocket knife and then price it correctly. I'm a huge fan of Kaiser, and this is probably one of my favorite Kaiser produced knives ever. So that's a Lundquist design. Anybody who's wondering, that's what that is. But really, really cool stuff. Moving on here to another super impressive knife. I think the price will definitely surprise you. This is the premium Real Steel Rott. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. By Ivan B. This is, in my opinion, one of the best Shirogorov alternatives that you will find out there. Very, very kind of Shirogorov-y essence going on here. We have textured titanium scales. We have an S35VN blade, which again is very, very good. Now you're not going to quite get the same. I mean, if you're familiar with Shirogorov knives, you're thinking those are $1,000 knives, right? And whatever you feel about the value or whatever, as somebody who owns multiple Shirogorovs and handles, I don't know, like 700 knives a year, I can tell you that the Shirogorov stuff is definitely, like the fit and finish department, it's definitely a bit better. But this costs substantially less. This is a $175 knife. Really, really cool, really nice open ergonomic design. It's not just a cool looking knife, right? It kind of looks like a folding steak knife, truthfully, but it's not just a cool looking knife. It's actually a really easy knife to manipulate, a really comfortable knife to hold. The flipper tab is great. The detent is great. A lot of people will look at this and scream proprietary hardware. Nope, just a flathead will do. I've actually adjusted it once, so perfectly fine. We only have one position for the pocket clip, unfortunately, because the clip head, or this part, the butt, whatever you want to call it, is nested into the titanium, but still extremely cool. For those of you who are like, that's neat, $175 sounds like a decent deal, that's still really expensive to me. This comes in a less expensive variation. That's right, you can get this exact knife, but not exactly the same materials, the same design, I guess, for less money. I'll link it down in the description. You guys can check it out if you want to. Really, really cool stuff. And now, of course, we got to move on. This is, I think, at least this week's hot item for sure. There's a lot of different channels talking about this knife, and after carrying it for a couple of days, yeah, I can confirm this is really cool. The new USA-made Kershaw bel-air. We've got aluminum scales, a Magna Cut blade, and then Kershaw's version of the Axis lock, or, well, we call it the crossbar lock. The Axis lock is technically what Benchmade calls it, but the patent ended, so now everybody can use it. Super slicey, obviously meant to kind of be in the same competition zone as the Benchmade bug out. No, it's not a copy, right? Benchmade doesn't own this handle profile or anything like that. Really nice. And on top of that, they're able to produce this thing for substantially less than most of the competition. I think probably the most competitive company with Kershaw's USA stuff is Hogue. I think they do a great job, but man, if you want to compare this to stuff that Benchmade does, what do they charge for the bug out? S30V and the most hollowed out scale. I like Benchmade, but let's let's compare its direct competition. The S30V and hollow plastic scaled bug out is what, 180? Yeah. The bel-air I think is about 165, and in my opinion, feels like a substantially more robust knife, a substantially more, just for the money you're gonna spend on it, it just feels better. Now it is a little bit shorter, right? But that's okay. I think some people will like that. And truthfully, you can still get a beautiful full grip on it. If your hands are like mine, I wear an XL glove, no problem. I also think the clip is excellent. To be fair, actually, I keep forgetting I have the bug out right here. It's not that much smaller, right? And to be fair, I actually do really like the clip on the bug out. Now mine's really dressed up. This is a custom S90V variant with Flytanium scales on it, right? But really just the all metal handle, the all metal construction feels really good. This is like a sort of a deserty aluminum. And then we have the steel liners. Also, I like the construction a bit better. We don't have extra screws in the middle of the frame for a cartridge liner, and we don't have another screw up here for the stop pin. It's just steel liners, which is great all the way through. Now, it does weigh a little bit more than, the standard bug out, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I find that to be trivial, right? I keep losing the button for this scale. 2.93 ounces, that's not really a problem for me. Even if the bug out comes in at 1.85, what does it come in at, 1.85? That's trivial to me. This is an ultra lightweight knife in my book, anything under 3 ounces. And honestly, I would prefer the extra feeling of solidity and heft, and I would definitely prefer the difference in price. I think Kershaw did something really, really cool here with the bel-air. And admittedly, it's not a super duper exciting design or profile, but it is what people want. And it's extra exciting for people who like to purchase things from the USA. Not everybody, right? This channel likes to talk about things that are from all over the place, but for people who want to purchase things that are made in the United States and at the same time don't want to spend an absolutely ridiculous amount of money, right? This is a production, like a mass-produced USA knife, which is very different from something like a mid-tech or a small batch USA knife. Those cost substantially more money, but it's really cool. The overall package is very, very good and very, very dependable considering it's a $165 knife, right? So don't expect to baton with this. Don't expect to pry up nails or anything with it. That's not the point of the pocket knife. But using it for general EDC and general knife tasks, yes, it is definitely excellent. I've really, really enjoyed this one. So once again, to go back through everything, we have the USA-made Kershaw bel-air. We have the Real Steel Rott, Real Steel and Ivan B. Rott Premium. We have the Kaiser Versa, this one in the black coated blade and frame. We have the Migron Maro, and we have the Sencut Pulse Wave. All of these knives will be listed down in the descriptions. You guys can check them out if you want to. That's going to be it from me today. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.